Okay, well, it's the height of summer, but we're doing a FBC podcast special. I'm delighted to say that we're joined today by Brian Tinnion, who I've known for many years, as Ian. Ian Gay is joining me today as well to talk about what's happening and what we can look forward to in the season ahead. So without any further ado, Ian, I know you've got some questions for Brian, so let's fire away. And first of all, Brian, thanks a lot for making the time available.
So I think, start off with what I think was the most successful team at the club last season, the under-18s. Can you tell us something about why you think they were so successful? I mean, it's an obvious reason to say why they're successful because they had some good players, but why were they so successful last season? And why have so many, because it's actually more than 10 that have come out of that and signed professional contracts. I'm thinking the 10 you announced recently didn't include people like Joe Duncan.
Yeah.
So why do you think they were that successful? And have you ever seen anything like that before?
Well, we made a decision before the season started that we were going to keep that team together and try and have a go at the Youth Cup.
Yeah.
Because in the past, probably 4 or 5 seasons, 4 or 5 or 6 under-18s are playing constantly in the 21s. And then when we put them back for the FA Youth Cup, it's never quite worked. So we knew they were a good group, so we decided that we're going to keep them together predominantly as much as we could to play as many games as it could, to be as a bit of a team, which was what we don't really do normally, to be honest. But and they were successful. They finished second in the league. They got the semi-final of the FA Youth Cup, the furthest we've been for a long, long time. So that's probably why they were successful, because we did keep them together more than we normally do as a rule. Really, we get the best ones playing the 21s. Is it the right thing to do? Not sure. Should quite a lot of them play more 21s? Probably, yeah, because they're good enough and it may have pushed them. But the good thing is they were playing so well for the 18s. They were getting their opportunity to train with the first team and play with the first team and being involved anyway. So yeah, it was successful because we kept them together, I think.
And it must be great from a confidence perspective for those young lads to be winning games. I know at the younger level, people often say, well, it's about development, it's not about winning, but winning's never a bad habit to get into, is it?
I think you have to develop winning.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, when they get to a first team level, it's all about winning.
Yeah.
So you can't go through from 9 years of age in the academy and not be about winning. And then all of a sudden, when you get to the first team, you've got to win every week in front of 20,000 people. So winning's important. Winning is more and more what we've brought in, I think, to the academy, probably from 13s, 14s up, when they get old enough and they get mentally strong enough to handle having to win. So we enter quite a lot of cup competitions now to put them in a position where they're playing in a cup competition that we want them to win. So yeah, win's really important.
It's always nice to get a medal or a pot and something like that. You can stick on the sideboard or give to your nan or whatever you're going to do with it.
Yeah, of course it is. And the unfortunate part about when young lads join the academy at 9 years of age, when all the tournaments are going on in the summer and all their mates are playing the tournaments, they can't play because they're academy players. So
Right.
they can't go and win tournaments and win trophies and win things with their mates. So that's not the best side of the academy. But yeah, we want winners. We want people who compete, and that's something we're bringing more and more into the academy.
So how far can we go to attract players from? Can we bring? I mean, I know we've got lads from Guernsey,
Yeah.
but can we bring players, say, from some outstanding players in, I don't know, pick something, Glasgow, Aberdeen? Can we bring them here, or did you have to be Cat 1?
Cat 2 is an hour and a half, so our catchment area is an hour and a half from this building. So
Right.
up from 9 to 16. Obviously, from 16 up, you can recruit from wherever you want. But from 9 to 16 is an hour and a half from the HPC.
Right. Okay. And what would it take for us? I mean, I'm probably going to say money, but probably what would it take for us to go Cat 1?
It's something we've talked about for sure, but I think we've been pretty successful. So do we really need to change? Yeah.
Is it worth it for the incremental cost?
And we play the Cat 1 academies in games anyway, because they're always ringing us, always want to play us. We played Man City 16s this year, we've played Chelsea, we've played Arsenal. So we can get fixtures against the top clubs because they want to. And we know why they want to play us. They want to look at our players. So we'd like to play to see where we are and have some competition.
So how does Guernsey work has been hour and a half. Is it hour and a half flight or something?
Well, from 16 onwards, you can sign them. So
right,
we've
okay.
not taken anyone from Guernsey before 16. So, and obviously I've got a good relationship with Tony Vance over there, who's a good friend of mine, and he's been great with obviously Alex Scott and Tim Action and Ben Asian, who unfortunately hasn't quite got there, being released this summer. So, and we've now got Griffiths as well from there. So we're having some good success from there. So long may it continue.
So I picked out some names of some of those under 18 players, and I didn't want to embarrass you by saying which ones are going to come through and which ones aren't. But so the ones I picked out that I really liked when I saw play, the first one was Tane Anderson, who's a left back.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about him?
A very good player, Tane. One we think has got the real attributes to play for us. And I said the other day to him when I had a meeting with him that he's got to get after Pringy and Hayden Roberts now.
Yeah.
That's his aim. That's the two ahead of him. He'll get after him.
Yeah.
Hunt him down.
So it comes on to another question I was going to ask you, but we can evolve that at the time. How do you decide who stays and who goes out on loan? Is it a question of, well, we could do with a third left wing back really for the first team, or is it as the stage the players? How do you and Liam decide that? I take it, is it?
Well, I think it's we treat every player in an individual case. So everybody's different. Lloyd Kelly never went out alone.
Right.
Lloyd didn't need to. He was physically strong enough, he could handle it. Alex Scott had already played for Guernsey in a men's team at 16, so he didn't need to go out. He'd done it. We just explained about Stokes and Murphy now.
Yeah.
They both have loads and loads of men's football, so unless it's decided later on that they need some more, they will stay in and push, because they've had the men's football, they've had that experience. So we sit down and we'll sit with the staff and we think who needs it, who doesn't need it, who can stay around, who could go in the first team without another one, and then we'll decide at the end of probably pre-season when everybody wants to see where everybody is.
So another one who's obviously just turned out for England was Elijah Morrison.
Yeah.
Who's I felt sorry for the lad when he missed the penalty up in that playoff game against Birmingham, but he's some player, isn't
he? Yeah, he is. Got a really good report back off England on his 2 games up there that he went up to St James's Park. Got pace, real tough character. Got a great left foot, can deliver, great cross of the ball on the run and score. So I think he's going to make a real big impression. I think he'll come back and be in the first team squad and train with them from pre-season. So he's got a real chance to come back and make an impact. He's made a good impact on the first team staff.
So could you see him? He'd be competing, I suppose, is the best way to put it, with Anis Mehmeti, Sam Bell for that left side slot? Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, that's his aim. And another one, not sure really that he needs men's football. I think he's tough enough to handle.
Because the physical size of some of these lads is real. I mean, when you see them for 17, 18-year-old kids, I mean, they're blokes.
They're big boys, yeah. The big lads, and as I spoke to you earlier, Ian, we from the academy now, from 9, 10, 11, 12, we don't have people who are not good lads in the academy, who don't want to listen and don't want to learn. We want good people who really work their socks off and listen to people and want to get them. They want to get where we want them to get.
Yeah. So
we're all on the same page, and every one of them lads you're going to go through are great lads, and they want to desperately play for Bristol City.
Yeah, Jed Meerholz is another one I really liked. I mean, when you talk about strong enough to play men's football, he looks it.
Yeah.
Because he was crashing into, I mean, I watched the game against Man City, and I mean, he was crashing into a few up there, and he kept going for the 90 minutes.
Yeah, good left-footed midfield player, can travel with the ball, can see it pass, 6'2", so he's got real good attributes. Again, we'll decide, as we say, later on in pre-season, does he need to go out and get a bit of men's football? We'll see, but great potential.
Yeah, the other one, Josh Campbell-Slowey, he's impressed me every time I've seen him play left-sided centre-back.
Well, I sat against Man City in the Youth Cup and sat there and watched the game, and I thought, well, he could actually take his top off, put a Man City top on and play, and look not out of place in their team. That's how he looked to me that night, and he's improved massively. Credit to Mickey and and Trev and Ali and Swifty have worked hard with him on his technical stuff to get better with the ball. 6'3", left foot, can run, can head it, now can pass it much better than he could 2 years ago. So making really good strides.
Yeah.
One to watch for sure.
We know about Ephraim Yeboah, and he went out on loan to get some men's football at Bath and did well there.
Yeah, I've had two clubs already contacted about Ephraim. He's still 17, Ephraim, believe it or not. I had a meeting with all the lads at the end of the season individually and said to him, you're 17, you've played 11 games in the championship, come off the bench. You've gone and scored for Bath in the National League. You've played in the 18s and semi-final of the Youth Cup. You've played in the 21s and scored. So what a season for Ephraim. There's so many, and a few downs, because he come back from the first team squad after he had a little bit of a tough time, but everybody rallied around him and got him going again. He's finished the season brilliantly. And what an attitude, what a runner, what a really good player.
But I mean, when I watched him play, he's not the biggest, but he's sharp, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's quick and he seems very strong. He's certainly not frightened of anything, is he?
He's tough. He's tough and he'll run and he'll score goals and he can play either left or right or as a 9. So Ephraim will come back and again we'll assess pre-season and then potentially a league on for Ephraim to keep getting that experience.
So you've got Joe Jones who played for us over at Cardiff when Nigel was in charge. And basically, I think that game we ran out of players, didn't we? I think we had 12 injured going into that game. But I mean, he didn't look out of place.
No, another one, good right back, technically good, really good in the air, good defensive far post well, got good quality on the ball. Another one, maybe a men's loan to get some men's football, maybe stay in and push. Again, he's got Ross McCrory, he's got George Santa, get after him.
Yeah, well, and the last one in that cohort for me, apart from some of the others who've already gone through, like I mentioned, like Joe Duncan, I know I think you rate him quite highly as well. Billy Phillips.
Yeah.
Because you look at some players and you think, well, he's a 4 or 6 or 7. I look at Billy Phillips, I think, well, he's a good footballer. Is he a 10? What is he? Because he seems like he could play anywhere up front.
Yeah, well he could. He can play off the sides, he can play as a 10, he can play as a 9 as well. So he's had some exposure at first team training. Scored the winner in the quarter final against Swindon at Ashton Gate. So really good. We're just trying to get Billy's numbers up a little bit. Can he score more goals? Can he create a bit more? Gets in a lot of chances. Mickey had some good stats on him when we sat down with him, so he knows now what he needs to start hitting on the goals and the assists, and I think that will make him and take him to another level.
Yeah. So coming forward to some of the, if you will, under 21s last season, players impressed me when I seen him, and I think he's got a fantastic jump on him, and he had been involved with the first team, Jamie Knight-Labelle.
Yeah, he's on standby for Canada for the international team, the full international team, which is brilliant for him. Can play with the ball, really comfortable. Train with the first team now for probably 4 or 5 months. Looks comfortable in the environment now. Probably needs some men's football now, Jamie, just to probably toughen him up a little bit. I think he's a lovely lad, he's a nice lad, but can we go and get him knocked about a bit in League Two or some big horrible ugly striker who wants to bash him about? But he's a good player, Jamie. We fully expect Jamie to be ready in probably a year, 2 latest to play in that team.
He seems to be one of those players that you see from time to time. You seem to have that ability to hang in the air. And I know it's an optical illusion, but he does seem to get up early and stay there, isn't it?
No, he's a good player, Jamie. He's got everything. He's got everything about him. He can play with the ball, he can head it, he can travel out with the ball if the space is there. So really excited about Jamie. Another one who's been rounded. He's come on the first team, he come out Nottingham Forest and played 25-30 minutes. So
Didn't look out of place.
No, he didn't. So he's had some great experiences this season.
And with players coming back from injury next season, that's why you'll probably push him out for a year. With Rob coming back and Cal.
We have to. What we don't want to do, Seb's another one. If they're not going to affect it now, let's keep them progressing. So Seb can go League One, and it's just shown me on the board there. We've got 9 clubs for Seb for next season for loan. From Scottish Premier down back to League Two. So what's best for Seb? We don't want to come here and play 10 minutes here and there and be
No.
that. Can we get him another 30, 40 games at a level where next season he comes back and bang, he's ready to go.
Well, Newport, I mean, the fans must have really liked him, because I think they voted him Young Player of the Season.
They did. I went across to watch quite a few games, and his name was the most sung in the stadium. He's really popular. And I know I spoke Graham Cochran because I know him well, and he spoke really highly of him. The players liked him, the staff liked him. So he's a really popular lad in the dressing room, which is great. He's a great lad. Great lad.
And another big lad.
Big lad. He's put some real weight on his shoulders, are up there, and he's a runner. He'll run all day. He's finishing. He scored left foot, right foot, headers at Newport. So fantastic season for him.
How tall is he? Like 6'4", 6'3"?
Yeah, he's probably 6'2", 6'3" now, but his shoulders. I don't know what they're feeding him in Newport. No, he looks great. Great shape, great lad. And he come back at the end of the season and was training with our first team like on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So him and Stokes and Murphy all integrated in the first team training for the last probably 3 or 4 weeks. So they know what
And
it's
you
all
get
about.
good, I mean, you obviously get feedback from Liam and Chris, but you also get good feedback from the players about them.
Yeah, it was interesting because Rob didn't say too much, but I was in the restaurant one day and Rob called me, Brian, Stokes, I'm really looking forward to seeing Stokes next season. He's been really impressive in training, which is really nice from a good senior pro like Rob Dickey to say that. I was like, oh, that's good. So yeah, so they're really good with him, because I think a lot of that squad has come from that position where they've been the new lad and they've been the young boy coming in that squad.
Yeah.
Like your Viners and your Max O'Learys and your Pringies and Tommy Conways and Sam Bell. So they've all been there, so they're brilliant with them young ones when they go in. They really help them.
Yeah, I think I'd come to another player who seemed to be right in the frame at the start, and then I think he had a hamstring injury, Rafa Roya,
Yeah,
and then I think he went out on loan to Western, and he seemed to do really well down there.
Yeah.
Is he one you're looking at getting out on loan again next season?
potentially, yeah, we've had a few bits of interest in Raf from National League and League Two, so we'll see what comes in for him and what's best for him when he comes back for pre-season. I think when they have a few weeks off and they come back, some of them, the change is unbelievable because they've got 4 or 5 weeks physically, and you think, blimey, heck, look at him. So it happens all the time. So somebody will come back and surprise you, and you'll go, he ain't going anyways, you ready?
Yeah.
So
How big is the gap between National League and League Two? Because you just meant it's pretty negligible.
Yeah, pretty much. You're happy if you're trying to get him a League Two and he ends up in the National League, you're not too
Bothered, right?
because I think the gap is really close now. But you'll see, you watch Chesterfield this year in League Two, will probably win.
So almost makes a case for regionalising
Yeah.
League Two.
Yeah,
and the National
I'd have thought so. Yeah, and it's good if we can keep them pretty local.
Yeah.
So if we can get the clubs like the Oval are up now and Team Cheltenham,
Newport.
yeah, Newport, it's really good because they can still come in here 1 or 2 days a week and still be part of it here, so they don't get lost from what we're actually doing.
I think the last one in terms of individual players, and it was one that seemed to do well for the under 21s, and then towards the end of the season, it was around the first, was Tommy Backwell.
Yeah, Tommy's a really late developer at 16. He was like a little boy, so we've been really patient with Tommy, and he trains so well. He's had a lot of training with the first team, and I know Liam's been pretty impressed with him. So it's going to be a season now for Tommy where he has to either break in our team or he has to go and play in League 1 or 2 and get the games to progress. So it's a big season for Tommy, but he knows we're a good
How old is he now, Brian?
He's 20 now.
Oh, right, okay.
So he's not as young now. He's at a stage where he's got to go and do what's happening at Newport, or he's got to break in our team somehow.
Right.
So the challenge is there for him, but he's really impressed in training with the first team. He doesn't have that place.
And you mentioned a couple of the younger, I'll call them younger signings, because they've been brought in, they play men's football, they come from outside the club. Josh Stokes, Adam Murphy. We've all seen a clip of Murphy scoring that screamer for the under 21s at Ashton game. What can you tell us about them as players? Where do you see them playing, and do you think they're definitely going to be here and in the first team next season?
We're really careful with Murphy when he came over from Ireland. he had a few like tendon issues in his knees, so he spent a lot of time in the gym, a lot of time with the sports science, because I could feel the fans, where's Murphy, and I got
Yeah.
that, but we've really set him up for this pre-season.
Yeah.
So he started with the 18s, doing some light training. To be fair, the staff were like, wow, what a player. Then he did some training with the 21s, and Ali and that were really impressed. And then he played in a couple of games of 45 minutes and 30 minutes, and was really good. So trained with the first team for the first week, the last week, 10 days. So I'm fully expecting Murphy to come in and really impress in that first team squad and really push the midfield players we've got. He's exciting, he's dynamic, he can go back box to box, he can play, he can score. So really excited about him. And Josh is the same. Josh has had a really good season in all, shot 16 goals, 8 assists. So he'll come in. They've done the men's football now.
Yeah.
So I don't think, unless something changes and we've got a really full fit squad and they're a little bit down and not going to get the games, but I can see both staying in and being around that first team squad and waiting for an opportunity.
So would it be fair to say that Stokes is probably a more of a 10 than anything, but Murphy could be 4, 6, 8, anything?
Yeah, any of the midfield for
The central
Murphy,
midfield.
central midfield, yeah. And Stokes is more of attacking. He could be a 9 potentially. Stokes.
How old is Stokes again, right?
19.
19, because I saw the exit interview that he did for their fans forum up there, and you were saying earlier about the lads through all levels, nice lads. I mean, he seems so mature how he was talking to the interviewer on camera.
Him and Murphy are both really top lads.
Yeah,
Everybody, staff, players have been really impressed with both, how they fitted in, how they work, what their attitudes are like.
And what are their living arrangements over there? Because 2 young lads new to the area, do you sort of put them in, because like Alex lived with Tommy, they had a flat thing. I mean, do you?
I think they've got their own places.
Yeah,
they've got their own places, but they get friends pretty quickly. You know, as I said, Murphy's been really impressive for the 18s and 21s. So a lot of the lads are around him and they like him, and the staff like him. So they've both settled in brilliantly, and I think they're going to have really good seasons for us. And they'll be around it. I think they'll be waiting for an opportunity.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I think we talked about the academy. If we just quickly, how many players have we actually got down here now in the academy, and that would be boys and girls, if you will. What's the total?
Oh, over 200.
Wow.
Yeah, over 200 kids. As I said, on the board together. So like the 8s are starting as 9s because they can sign now. And then we've obviously got every age group and some fantastic talent.
And that's not including the men's and women's first team.
No.
It's not.
No, that's
so
not.
it's 200 academy players.
Yeah, academy players at least.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must take some managing.
Yeah. Yes, it's a big program, but we've got a lot of good staff who are really good. So, and there's some real talent coming through. As I said to you before, I think our 18s and 21s next year are probably the best I think I've seen here. Yeah. In both groups. Our 16s going up to scholarship next year are very good. One of them will jump straight with 21s, Henry Boswell. He'll go straight in his 21s next year. Physically good enough, 6'2", play anywhere across the front. So he'll jump 16 straight to 21s. Let's get him going.
Who was the big centre half we signed from Gloucestershire today? Is he 6'5", 6'7" or something? Is it Hooper?
Yeah, Jack Hooper. It was at Bridgewater College. Yeah. So Jack's going to be a second year scholar next year. He's done really well. He's coming from Bridgewater. He's played 18s. He played 21s. Yeah, he's 6'5" or 6" and left-footed. He's got a good left foot. Can actually play for a big one. And he's done really well.
And how old is he?
17.
So I mean, technically he's not finished growing yet. So you don't stop growing till you. Well, people say till you're 21.
Yeah.
God,
Brooks is a good kid, really good. And that's the opportunity we like to give to people like that.
Yeah.
You know, we did it with Antoine.
Well,
we
I was just going to mention that, yeah.
We did it with Alex Scott. We did it. Pringy was in a college scheme at Cheltenham, and he played for their under 18s in a youth cup game. I remember I went and watched somebody totally different and saw Pringy and went, wow. And then found out he's in a college scheme, so we could take him. So they're out there. And we
talk about Antoine. He's had an exceptional first season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done brilliant.
And he's probably got more minutes than Alex Scott, because I always look at their lineup and Antoine seems to be in there from,
Yeah,
you know, you think somebody, because, you know, we're not going to get any sell on because Lloyd Kelly's gone
yeah,
out of contract.
yeah.
But if Antoine, somebody came sniffing for him,
Yeah.
we've got a sell on there, so
Oh,
it
yeah,
would
yeah,
be
a good song.
unexpected
Yeah, bonus.
bonus coming in there from that
Yeah,
perspective.
that would keep an eye on that one. Closely.
And Josh, when we won't get anything for Josh now.
No, he's out of contract as well.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And Webster never really hit the heights that we thought.
No,
You
no,
know, he wasn't
out there team.
wasn't getting it in every week either.
No.
But you know, if any of those three had come off, that would have
Yeah.
been a couple of million quid in the kitty.
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
at least, yeah.
At least, yeah.
At least.
Yeah, because Yannick Balas is the biggest sell-on we've had, and that's over 10 years ago.
Or Hadiak in mind was another one that we made a lot more money out of it. Well, I think we sold him from Gillingham.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
I think Balassi was the biggest number.
Yeah,
And
what
the one we never made was bloody Cole, wasn't it? Going all that time back.
but we never had a sell.
No, but we took the money.
Yeah. So you don't want to
That's
do
back
that.
in that's before your time, right?
Well,
Actually, Andy Cole left, and I came in the week after.
Yeah,
I came in the week
Yeah.
after.
When was that long ago?
Yeah.
91. That's
I
right.
think you were wrong.
But if they'd have had that sell-on, because if they'd have had that sell-on, they probably would have been able to retain Robert Fleck. Do you remember? Because we had him on loan back then. That could have kept us up.
But looking at it, I mean, I did hear a whisper the other day, from somebody who's given me some decent info in the past that Brangwell is, going to Ipswich.
I read that.
There's certainly a club that would, you could see it fitting, you know, with under McKenna and how he's staying there. So going on, that's the academy, going on to recruitment.
Yeah.
We know about Sean Gillespie, who's a head of recruitment, who reports into you, but who else is in? Because people talk about all of the recruitment team.
Yeah.
How many people are actually here? How many scouts have we got in the UK, in Europe? And
Well, we've
How-
we've got Sean's obviously head of recruitment, and we've got 5 full-time who are on the same desk as Sean. So they obviously watch games in the week, they watch games the weekends, and they go across to Europe as well. So they identify the players that are of interest in Europe, and they go and check them out, and then it all comes back obviously into me, and then we check them, and then we'll probably me and Sean will go and have a look as well. So
And that's, you physically go and watch them as opposed to, because football seems to be really data driven
yeah,
these days. You even hear managers talking about it, and you can get, I think you use WeScout, but there are a number of scouting systems
yeah.
around it you look at, and you can see more or less what they have for breakfast in the morning. I mean,
I'd never sign a player if I hadn't seen him on the eyes.
no,
No, I think it's really important because you watch clips and you watch bits and you can make people look as good
Look
as
well back.
yeah, of course you do, but you have to watch the whole game. And you
yeah,
have to see the whole pitch and see what they're doing out of possession.
yeah,
If it's a striker, what's he doing when the ball's in the box being defended at that end? Because you can't see it on my screen, you can't see it on the game. So definitely one of the team, Sean, Scouts, myself, Liam, Hoggy, somebody will go and watch him and see him with our own eyes for sure.
and before Liam signs a player,
Yeah,
because just to be clear, there are still people out there saying that players get imposed on a manager. If Liam doesn't want, if you go in and say, well, I want to sign this guy as our 7, and Liam said, no, I don't like him, then he doesn't come.
I think you're right. Yeah, there's a perception that it's a battle if somebody wants to sign somebody. We sit around a room, we sit around a big table, we get all the possibilities and the targets together, and to be honest, everybody agrees. Everybody agrees, but obviously Liam will have the final say on the player. Of course he will. He has to coach him, he has to go and get him out in the team and make the team successful. So yes, but it's very much, there's very rarely, and it was the same with Nige. There's no different. We went round, we said, we think these are the best 3 centre halves, Dickey, What do we think? I would say Dickey. I was saying Dickey. I was saying Dickey.
All right, so we'll go and get him then.
Yeah, Jason Knight, one athletic midfield player, goes box to box and he's a runner and we want to get pressure on the ball. Jason Knight comes out miles on top.
Yeah.
Not even a discussion, same Jason Knight.
And obviously you've got the data in front of you that backs up what you say,
Of course it
but
does.
then you obviously go and watch the guy.
Of course you do. We watched, we had 39 reports on Jason Knight. 50 odd on Dickey, because we watched them at Oxford before we went to QPR.
Yeah,
So we know the players, so it's just a case of ticking it off really, but everybody's pretty much on board, because it fits the profile of what we want.
yeah,
So I think that's really important. We know what we want.
yeah.
We know now we want a 7, we want a 9, we want a 10. We want the 9 to be physical if we can.
And
We want
does-
the 10 to be
Does
creative.
formation come into that? Do you think, well, this guy works in any formation? I mean, because at the end of the season, we were playing a 3-4-2-1 with
Yeah.
2 10s.
Yeah,
Does formation come into it? You think, well, because for example, we were playing with wing backs.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
So you then look at, when you say Liam wants, or Liam says he wants a 7, a 9 and a 10.
yeah.
Where's the 7 fit? Is that an option, or is it, what is it?
No, it's a 7 who plays wide sometimes, and it's always good and nice, isn't it, if your 7 can play as a 9. So you've got all your data, you've watched him, he's played 7, then you go and watch him next thing, he's playing as a 9, then you know he can play 7 or 9. So it gives you them different options in them forward areas, like Sam Bell really, has played wide off the left, but it's always been a 9.
Right.
We just haven't seen Sam Bell as a 9 yet. Because young players normally, especially in the forward areas, they'll end up playing wide first until they develop themselves or got enough games to get an opportunity as a 9. I see Sam Bell potentially being a really good 9 for us at some point.
Despite lack of physique,
Yeah, but Sam's a powerful boy.
because he's got it.
He's
Yeah.
got a good bit of play. It's really quick. He can get down the side, so that wouldn't surprise me at some point. But yeah, so we know when we sign someone, yeah, we know he can play 7, and he is a good 7, but he can also play as a 9.
And most wide players these days, it seems to me, need to be able to play left and right.
Yeah,
You know, the days of an old-fashioned right winger and a left winger.
it's like Manetti, you know, Manetti can play off the left, but he can also play on the right.
Yeah,
He can probably play as a 10.
yeah.
And that's it, Wickham, we saw him playing all them positions.
I was going to say that he's played all those positions. I
Yeah.
mean, Derby, I think it was the last 7 games of the season before last. Knight played 5 different positions everywhere from right wing back
Yeah,
to left wing.
yeah. And it's good when they can adapt, can't they? It's like Alex Scott got in our team and played right wing.
He did, and he did very well. He did very well there.
Never played right wing back in his life. But good players can adapt to playing probably.
But because it's a 20 match day squad now,
Yeah.
you can have, with 5 substitutions.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not,
great.
because I always have this argument with Dave, well, not with Dave Febbs, an argument with such, but he said it's not a starting 11, it's the match day 20.
Yeah. Max Bird can play as a 6, can play as an 8, can play as a 10. And we've got 40 odd reports and we've watched them play in every single position. So
Yeah.
Liam's happy, there's another, or he can play there, he can play here, he can play there.
Yeah, because I saw Taylor Gardner Hickman, we played in one game as a 10. I think it was one of the cup games. It was either Forest,
Yeah,
and he looked good.
yeah,
You know, you wouldn't not necessarily look at him because obviously we know he can play right back.
Yeah.
We know he can play centre mid, which
Yeah.
seems to be his favourite position, I'd say.
but also he can play in the 10.
But he can play in the 10 as well.
And he scored that cracking goal against
But coming off actually
coming in.
left hand side.
Yeah,
So it's great to have this squad where they can play in different positions and they're flexible and it gives you more options, doesn't it?
so we know we're going for the 7 and a 9 and a 10.
Yeah.
How's that progressing at the moment? Because obviously it's out there that Scott Twine is the one we want.
Yeah.
And he did well when he came back from injury on loan.
Yeah.
Getting injured against Hull was a real downer, but he seemed to be, he came back really strongly from that in the end. And he
What's the one he scored against Watford?
Oh, Watford, yeah,
Yeah.
better and better and better.
Yeah.
How's it progressing? Are we close on any? And what can you tell us? I'm obviously not going to name names, but what can you tell us about the players? What are their
Yeah,
characteristics?
we're really close to a 7. That's probably the closest one at the minute, which we're really hopeful of getting over the line in the next couple of days. We're really hopeful of that. The 9, we've got one identified in England.
Right.
And also have probably 2 or 3 abroad who were speaking with the agents, and we're in good conversations with them to see where we are with them. But and yeah, Scott Twine's one that we really like. And the
You
manager-
said about getting business done early, and I suppose
Yeah.
you could say one of the best signings is re-signing Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, really pleased with that.
So that, but then the situation at Burnley with Twine, that's
Yeah.
going to be complicated by the fact that
Yeah, I'm good.
Company's gone.
Yeah.
And there's no idea who's coming in
Yeah.
yet, and then he'll want time to assess. But I mean, do you feel confident that the bulk of the business will be done before the first game of the season, or as has happened in the past,
Yeah.
you're sort of doing business as the window shuts, just
Yeah.
getting it done
Yeah,
early?
last year we
Is
did
the
really
preference,
early.
isn't it?
We did well. We had Dickie done, we had Roberts done, we had McCrory done really early.
Yeah.
We're really happy. Jason and I took a little bit longer because he was on international duty.
Yeah.
We were actually training him, so
Mm.
we were watching 90 training session. We had a good chat with the Irish manager in here as well. So, but yeah, we want it done early. We want that first day of pre-season to have a squad together. Right, go on, let's go.
Yeah.
Point might be a little bit more difficult because of that situation. But the other two, I'd be really disappointed if we didn't have in for when we come back pre-season ready.
Yeah, and if you can't get Twine, if the new manager, and it's rumoured to be either going to be Frank Lampard or Steve Cooper, and if they come in and say, oh, no, I don't want him to go, I really fancy him.
Yeah.
But you've got other targets.
Yeah, we've got other plans. We have to, because this game is never.
And does that, because Twine, whatever number it is, he wouldn't come cheap, but then if he doesn't happen, then the other targets might not be as expensive as him, and then but then if you've got a budget, you say, well, I've saved 500k there, I can do plus 250, plus 150, which might be the difference between getting a player over the line or not.
Yeah, of course, it's a budget, and you have to work within the budget. We know what we've got, we know what we're trying to do, we know the positions we want, which is really good. We know the type of player we want, so it's pretty well organised, really. I think we're in a pretty good place. If the defence from last season plus Big Rob Atkinson coming back,
And Cal,
and we're missing McCrory for half a season. If they can come back and perform like they performed this season, got Bird in midfield to add to Joe Williams, who's re-signed with Knight and Hickman and Murphy, but just get a few in that front area that can make a difference and just get us a few more goals, then I think we'll have a pretty good.
Because last season, one of our problems was not scoring goals.
Yeah.
but we weren't conceding many
I thought
either.
we weren't conceding. So in an ideal world, I mean, if last season, if you just look at it in simple logic, we needed to win 4 more games. And to do that, we probably needed to score
8 more goals.
8-10 more goals.
Yeah.
And so that's to finish 6th.
Yeah.
But that isn't impossible. And the side that finished 6th, we went and completely outplayed on their own ground.
Yeah, everybody feels the same, really.
Yeah.
If we just add the right players in them right front areas,
Yeah.
make us a little bit more of a threat going forward, then we'll be happy with it. And then
Yeah.
I guess the Tommy situation's the one that everybody wants resolved, and we're recording this before Scotland have finally finalised their squad, but they've lost Lyndon Dykes, but Tommy's playing for the under-21, so I guess if Tommy did gate crash the Euro squad and got minutes, dare I say, score, something might happen, but that contract's still on the table for him, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been negotiating with Tommy for about a year now to sign a new contract, and we still haven't got there. So yeah, it's not ideal. It's not something we want. We want people and players committed to the squad and to the football.
Yeah. Is he being well advised, would you say? Yeah.
That's a question for Tommy.
Yeah.
But we want him here. We like Tom. Tommy's well liked. I think we've nursed him pretty well through the academy, and where he is now. We're given the opportunity to play in the championship as a 9 at 21.
Yeah.
There's not many number 9s playing in the championship as a number 1 striker. So we'd really like to get Tommy signed.
So looking at it, I mean, I've got a horrible feeling that it's going to be the worst scenario, which would be that he stays but he doesn't sign. And that just makes it really difficult for the club, doesn't it?
Well,
Because
we'll still have compensation next summer
yeah,
because he's under 24. So if it becomes that, then that's what it will be.
and is that compensation significant? It's not like if they go to the EU, it's capped at 250 grand or something in there. Or
It's always difficult because
over here, it's a tribunal.
yeah, tribunal. Yeah. So if you can't agree with the club at the end of next season, if it got that far,
Yeah.
and then it'd have to go to the tribunal, which you never really know then.
So the tribunal takes into account the level he's playing at,
Yeah,
what
contracts you've offered.
what he's been offered,
Yeah,
in terms of them coming up with a valuation of the player, and then probably saying, well, it would be that much now, but you get this much of a sell-on, this much of an
Yeah.
add-on. Is that how it
yeah,
works?
yeah, that's it.
I would have thought, in all honesty, you know, if clubs would be in a path to the door, there'd be whispers and you don't hear of anything to do with Tommy.
No.
And he could sign a contract, and if he has a bloody good season, then he's going to get what he wants anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And the club have had him since he was 8. So, you know, you'd want him to give us and he could almost have a buyout clause in there, couldn't he? Yeah, if something happened. But you said about the mentality of the players, having a player who is a natural first team selection but don't want to be here because he's not signed a very good contract, it's a conundrum for you and Liam as well.
Yeah, yeah,
of course it is, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. I'm going to bring another striker in as well.
Yeah, and Tommy could fall down the pecking order.
So the targets that we've got as a 9,
Yeah,
what kind of aging profile are they?
probably 24 or below.
Yeah,
So physical runners. There's one's probably more physical than the other 2, but they're not easy to get. If I'm honest.
Because everybody wants that.
Everybody wants them. You know,
And
all the agents you speak to, you say, what do you look after? You go a physical 9, go like everyone else.
yeah.
So I think it's turned around a little bit. People are playing false 9s and small forwards and all this. It's gone now back to a bit of a physical profile at the front of the pitch. I think everybody is pretty much looking.
So you want somebody who can do, I mean, in an ideal world, you want somebody who can, they won't be as good, obviously, but who can do what Harry Kane does.
Yeah,
So he drops back sometimes and gets on the half turn and passes the ball through to the wide players, but he can hold the ball up and influence play as well as, you know, you're not just looking for head on stick.
no, they have to run. They have to be able to run. They have to be physical but athletic. We don't want to take away the athletic side of the game because it's an important part.
We hear a lot about this running. When Liam's talking, I mean, he's often been interviewed and he says, oh, you know, anybody we get's got to be able to run. Now, it's pretty of a prerequisite. Footballers can run, but are we talking about pace? Are we talking about stamina? What does he mean by the amount of ground they cover?
Well, we want people to be able to get in behind the opposition.
Right.
Because if you can get in behind, because you can run in behind, it stretches the opposition. I think that's what we're looking for. We want people who can stretch the opposition and then be wary that your striker can run in behind them.
And then somebody like Scott Twine who can give them the ball.
Playing the ball. You need the mixture in every team needs a balance and a mixture of what they are.
Yeah.
So I think probably Knight was excellent as an 8. I thought he was outstanding when he played an 8. When he can get box to box and Bird can see the pass and he's a technician, so he'll see the runners as well. So if you've got
A bit like you then, Brian.
he's similar, but he's really good with his right foot as well, so that rules that bit out. Yeah, he's a really good player. So we're gonna have all different bits in that midfield. Joe Williams is a bit of a tough one who'll rattle attack, he'll get people.
We saw in
Also,
Joe,
people-
the player, the last 6 months, we saw in Joe, the player we signed. How many years ago was it now? Is it 3 or 4?
Dean Oldham something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you look at the midfield, it's got a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So Joe's a ratter and he aggravates the life of the opposition. It's brilliant if you're playing.
Yeah.
And Knight's a runner and can compete. And Bird can open it up.
Creative.
He can play and go. So
That's those 3 almost sort of like if you started that as a 3 and if you're going to play 5 at the back, you're only leaving 2 slots. But then, as we said a moment ago, it's a 20 game, 20 team matchday squad. So
I mean, he'll look at the squad and decide which formation he wants to play and what fits the players the best. If there's an injury, it might change. But we're hoping we're hoping to have more of a fully fit squad to pick from, because I think that you talk about 4 games from being close, and I think if you didn't have the injuries and the amount of injury you've had,
Yeah.
I think we wouldn't have been a million miles away, honestly, don't.
There always seems to be, when we get these injuries, they always seem to be in the same position.
Yeah.
Centre midfield, centre back.
Yeah.
You know, it's unusual to get a lot. I mean, obviously McCrawley's was a funny one, but it's unusual to get injuries in all those in different positions.
Yeah.
You know, our touch wood, our forwards have stayed
Tommy
relatively.
missed what the first 3 games of last season, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Tommy did a hamstring for the second time.
Yeah.
Well, because we're employing a head of medical, a new head of medical, so we're hopeful that changes the ways a little bit.
When does he start? Right?
Hopefully he's going to be done. He's obviously got a notice period at another football club. But
Yeah.
we're hoping the first day pre-season he's with us.
So he's under notice.
He's under
and
notice.
It's been offered.
Yeah.
And it's been kept under wraps.
Yeah, until
obvious
he
reasons.
can come and
Yeah.
join the football club. But we're hopeful
Yeah.
that will be the start of a bit more luck with the injuries.
Because
You've got to change things as well. I think we've got to look at what we're doing, gym wise, on the training pitch wise, and try and get a balance of it's football. This is all round football, by the way.
Yeah.
We've got now the best facilities.
Yeah.
Got the best gym in the world down there, and we're getting more and more injured. So something's
Something
not
that
quite
add up.
right.
Yeah.
And this is Newcastle, because I was.
Yeah, their problems
They
last season,
horrendous. Man United, what,
Man
saw
United.
61 injuries or something throughout the season. So there's something not quite right.
Well, they were asking Ten Hag at the interview, and they said, why were you playing this lad left back? He said, well, who else do I play there? The left back was complete, and I mean, some people can kick with both feet ish,
Yeah.
but I mean, Wan-Bissaka, who's
Yeah.
completely right, so he's a good defender,
Yeah, he's
but he's completely right-sided. And then they had Dallo playing there, who's also a really good defender, but right-sided. He said, I haven't got a left-sided defender in the club, in the squad. Well, get one out the under 21s, he said there aren't one there either. So and that's Man United. So if it's happening to them, it's frustrating. Well, it must be frustrating as hell for Liam, because he must think, right, I'm going to pick him, and I'm going to play him there, and all of a sudden, 2 of them aren't fit, and it's just.
I think he had it over December and January, and I think he had 12 to 14 senior players to pick from in a really busy period. He was really nervous.
When we were playing the cups.
Yeah, there was a lot of games, and it was the same players that you had to pick, really.
Yeah.
So we want to get to the point where we get 24 players fit and available, and the competition there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the change in what we're going to make helps them.
So this new head of medical will be over he'll be over the fitness and conditioning and the physios and all of that side.
Yeah.
And will he report into Tom?
He'll report to me.
Physio, the head of medical will report to you?
Yeah.
All right.
Because football matters.
So we'll keep the football and everything together.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's
So you work with Liam, you work with the staff, but they only come to me if there's an issue.
just the
But
interview process seemed to go on quite a while from when Dave Rennie left.
Yeah,
And this guy's come in, so it must have been a pretty exhaustive
yeah.
process.
But we want the person to make a difference, because
Yeah.
it's so important. The availability of your players is massive.
Yeah. So how did this guy? He obviously interviewed a lot more than him.
Yeah.
How did this guy? And I'm assuming it's a guy. How did he impress you more than the others? I mean, Dave is a professional recruiter, runs his own recruitment business. So, how did he impress you in a way that you thought, yeah, well, I'm in?
Well, I'm not an expert like myself either.
No,
So
that's what I'm thinking.
So we've got people who are.
Right.
So we use people from outside the
People with
football
medical
club
experience.
with
Yeah.
top medical experience
Yeah.
to come and interview and speak with the people who we were thinking of having the role.
Yeah.
And then you take their word because they're better qualified.
to make the judgment.
to make the judgment.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So that's what we did. So we had some really good people from outside, one top FA, one from outside in the football club. So we're doing our utmost to get the right person. So
Yeah,
we think we've gone through a really good process.
yeah, yeah.
And
So,
I think everybody's really happy with the person that everybody's come up with.
right, so he's going to come in and he's going to look at every aspect of it while they're training.
Yeah.
What's we often hear that we've got a head coach now,
Yeah.
and basically it seems to be pretty much the same job, but Liam, you see him out on the grass a lot
Yeah.
more out with the players. How would you say the training differentiates between what we did under Nigel and what we did under Liam?
But I think everybody's got their own way and own style and the way they want to. But Liam wants them out there a lot more. He wants them on the grass. He wants them coached. He wants them to know every little bit of responsibility and how we play, how we want to play, and how we in possession, out of possession. So the young coaches are much more evolved, I think, now
Yeah,
than I've ever seen. To be honest, there's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
They say I go down there to have a coffee with Liam, and there's 7 players stood outside with a laptop trying to go through all the clips from the game before on what they did well, what they can do better, or some lads, how can I get in the team?
yeah.
Why am I not in the team? How can I get him in? And he showed them.
And it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
This is what you need to do to get in the team.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
can't do it, you ain't getting in the team.
And this is probably something, and I think we just show them why if they're getting left out of the team, this is why.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
really,
because you got to face that hard.
yeah,
part
of
sometimes,
course,
don't
of
you?
course you are. But
Tough love,
the
type.
young coaches now are so developed in every little aspect of the game, and their detail is real. It's
Yeah,
really
that's a
impressive.
really, really detailed approach,
Yeah,
because he's you often hear him talk. And I mean, I won't criticise. I mean, you get these after-match clips, and we'd love to do an interview with him, by the way, and put a word in. But you see these after-match clips, and sometimes they don't come across well, and people will pick up on a certain word or something like that. And I think when I've heard this longer interview that he did with Radio Bristol, he came across much, much better in terms of explaining what he actually wanted and how it was going to work. And some of it's common sense, but some of it's stuff you think, oh yeah.
I think it's really difficult now for all head coaches and managers that they do one after game Saturday,
Yeah.
they do a midweek one ready for the Saturday game, then do another one after Saturday. So they're doing 3 interviews a week.
Yeah.
Virtually saying the same things.
Yeah.
So there's 3, 6, 9, there's 12 interviews a month, and people get bored. I don't listen to them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get bored. I watch other managers' interviews and just to try and learn and see what and how. And you think, oh, same as last week.
Yeah.
But I think they get bored because it's hard, isn't it?
Well, what can you, I mean, what can
Well, then you
best-
can rotate it with the assistant manager.
Yeah,
Which I think he did once.
yeah. Hoggy did one,
Hoggy,
didn't he? And have
yeah.
a bit of. He's a bit more light-hearted, Hoggy, wasn't he? But
Because
Yeah.
coaches used to do it.
yeah,
for
for
Nigel.
me, it's really hard. They must think, well, what am I going to say? Because I only said that after the game. Then we'll do this on Wednesday or Thursday.
How do you feel like it's gone whack 3-0?
3-0,
How do you think I feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling about the same as you. I know I'm going to get bad. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Because whatever I say is going to be good enough.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Isn't
Well, because the trouble is, there is a point where it comes across as you're making excuses.
it? Yeah.
You know, and no matter how hard you try, but winning, I think, is everything. Of course, when you're at that level, if you say, well, I don't really fancy him, have you got this season? Well, we won the first 20 games, we're top of the league, 15 points clear.
Yeah.
And you don't like it. You do for me.
It was Leicester, wasn't it?
Yeah.
17 points clear, and the fans are moaning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we don't like the style of play, we don't like this, we don't like
That's
that.
like Moisey. What else can West Ham expect to be
David Moyes.
8th in the Premier League?
League and won, they've got
And won the
European, yeah, won the European
Semi-finalists.
semi-final.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Newcastle did that with a bloke called Bobby Robson. It
Oh,
didn't go
that
well.
way, as well.
It didn't go well afterwards. They were, oh,
Yeah.
not higher than this, you know,
Yeah.
5th in the Premier League.
Charlton Athletic, same problem.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for. Courage is Steve Britt, wasn't it?
So yeah, so there's a lot of expectation. So I think social media's
Oh,
really
tremendously.
massively.
Yeah.
So you know now if you're going to get beat, if you get beat, don't read it.
Yeah.
It's simple, isn't
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, one thing I really want to ask you is if everything falls into place.
Yeah.
And what I mean by falls into place, Liam gets the 3 players he
it?
wants.
Yeah.
And you made it clear that he's not saying to you, well, as well as that, I want 3 defenders and another, you know, because I think if you look at our squad, we've got other defenders if we can get more fit.
Yeah.
Where my expectation, I'll put my neck on the line, is that if we get this, if the head of medical comes in and works his magic,
Yeah.
however he does it, and we get a better run with injuries, you're always going to get injuries, it's football, but let's say the average last season was 6 and we could get that down to 2 or 3, and if they're not long term.
Yeah.
I'm expecting us to be in the top 10 all season, challenging for the top 6. What's your expectation?
That would be great. You've got to be careful because once you make it, a statement, because I've not found this before.
It's like a government minister, you know, like, well, how much we're going to get immigration down? Well, we're going to get it down by how much?
Yeah,
Well, that becomes a target.
over what period of time?
Yeah, and also because you want to be positive, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say here I'll be happy over 4
How I get to my view is that I put those caveats in place because it is important, because if you get to the start of the season, we've got 8 out injured. He can't pick the team he wants.
Yeah, so things are going to
So
change.
players are getting cheesed off because they're injured, because I can't imagine any player likes being injured. Fair enough, if you're left out of the team, that's bad enough, and you're fit. In some ways, I suppose that could be worse, but that's how I arrive at it.
To be fair, it's not bad because if we won at Stoke the last game of the season, we'd have finished 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you're saying 10th pushing, it's a pretty realistic thing to look at, or a position to look at. As you say, if we get 10 injuries, and it could change, but
Or you don't get the players you want.
or you don't get the players you want because it doesn't.
I think what you just said there, Ian, that, you know, top 10 and in or around the playoffs, and it's 3 wins away from doing that. And with the injuries, that's integral to it. Yeah. I think looking at the squad, if Tommy stayed, even if we didn't get some of the other 2, because of the strength at the back, and you know, is Naismith a defender or a midfielder, but we got strength at the back and in midfield, you know, it's that 10 more goals, 8 more points. I think most City fans will be happy with that, you know, to get into the playoffs.
I think we have to be realistic because other clubs are strengthening as well.
Yeah,
They're not all sat still thinking, oh, well, Bristol
Stoke's look to be going for it.
Same 23 last summer.
I mean, Burnley have got Bellamy and the guy that used to be manager in interim charge, but they said they are still looking for the manager, and the 2 favourites up there
You said
are Cooper and Lampard. Or that's why I don't think, with respect to him, I think you call Lampard a favourite with the fans. The fans want Cooper more, but the lad that was talking to me was saying, well, that's the one they want, but it's a question of money. So I suppose like a lot of things in professional football, I don't know. But it seems to me that, but well, that's obviously going to cause you a delay, because obviously I think Scott Twine wants to come, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he's made it really clear. He loves it here. He'd love to be part of what the football club's building.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think the key to it all is that we concentrate on us. We get what we can do. We can affect what we can do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We can really try and get these 3 players we want.
Yeah.
Concentrate on us, and let's see where it takes us. But I think there's an optimism in the squad. That's why Joe Williams signed.
Yeah.
Joe had offers from other clubs in the Championship, and he thought, I'm staying there because he's got a good feeling about what we're doing.
And probably those offers could have been in his native Northwest.
Yeah.
So the fact that, and that was my fear with him, that's where we go.
So I think if we do that, if we concentrate, really stay focused on what we want to do and the players we want to get in, and then we can just really focus on have a good pre-season, hopefully get off to a good start.
Do you think we'll be playing, I mean, I know some of the games, we've got a game against Aldershot, we've got a home game against Villa.
Yeah.
Will the games, a criticism of mine last season was that I thought the pre-season friendlies were a bit of a waste of time in terms of the strength of the teams we played. You know, we're playing teams now, you know, having to lend them eight of our under 21s to get 2 games in. I mean, would you think that the overall the games will be a bit stronger, and are we going on tour anywhere so we'll do that?
The games, I think coaches managing now, they're not too worried about the game, they're worried about getting the players fit enough to be available for the first game of the season. So I think the games will pretty much be the same, if I'm honest.
Right.
Well, I know they are, I know the games. So yeah, it'll be pretty much the same, but yeah, I think the team are going to go away for 5 days abroad to train together.
And
So-
on that opening day fixture, is the balloon fiesta August the 10th? Because that always means that we're
We'll be away.
away,
Either way,
if it is.
yeah, I don't actually, I think, in it, 17th of August,
No,
start,
10th.
it's the 10th.
10th, 17th is a prem.
17th.
So Villans on the 3rd,
Yeah,
so,
that'll guarantee us away.
and then, so, yeah, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Right.
But yeah, I think they're very much getting the players fit. Can obviously do a lot of work on the team, and hopefully have a full squad for that first game of the season.
yeah. Right, Brian, okay, this is absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much for having us here today. Really appreciate your time, and hope we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Smashing.
Thanks, Brian.